Welcome everyone. We're starting a new topic on algebra, and I know it can be a bit of a struggle because suddenly we've got numbers and letters all mixed up together, and it takes a little while for students to get comfortable with this way of working. And one of the biggest things I see is students trying to mash all the numbers and the letters into one answer, because in primary school they're seen maths as something where the answer is a number, and algebra is a little bit different. So as we go through these videos, I'll reinforce some places where you need to say to yourself, stop, I've already got the answer. The answer looks like a little bit different. The answer might be 5n plus 2, and you're asked to stop there. And that's really important, that you tell yourself to stop unless you've given the value of the pronumeral or the letter that's involved. So we'll go through this, we'll make the mistakes, and we'll fix them up. So I'll get behind the light board, and there's a bunch of things I need to show you at the start. And there's some words here that we need to learn and we need to start using, because they'll be scattered all through the chapter here. So what I'm going to draw on the screen next is really important, that you really work hard to understand this. Okay. Welcome guys, we're just doing an introduction video to algebra, and what I want to say to you is that I understand that it's difficult, especially for students who are struggling just with the normal stuff, crunching the numbers, and then they hit this subject, and when we talk about algebra we are dealing with this kind of work here where we've got something like 2a plus 3b, and they're not sure what those letters mean, and the way we sometimes leave our answers is confusing, and understandably so. It's not an easy thing to get the hang of. So there's a couple of things we have to understand here, is that these letters that we're using, they're like a variable. There's something that changes. We can put different values or substitute in different values for the letter. Okay, and that is a big, to me at least, that's a big milestone when you understand that that letter is going to be replaced by a number. And we call these letters pronumerals, okay? And we can do various things. I wrote down X, Y, Z because the history is, I think, somewhere along the line when mathematicians started using this, they were using the last three letters of the alphabet. We could use any letter, and we could use any combination of letter to represent different variables, and also raise those letters to different powers as well. So we've just got to be careful. There's a lot of mathematical skill involved in here, and it's something that you have to build up over time. So keep persisting with it. So often we write X, Y, Z, and those pronumerals, we could use A, B, C, and often we use the letter N to represent a number. Okay, and that's a very important one that you want to keep your eyes open for. So in science we talk about a variable as something that we measure. In mathematics we talk about a variable as we often specify the possible values for that letter. So we might see along the way, we might see A is equal to 2, B is equal to 3, and so on. We have to keep our eyes open for the value of the letter. So initially it's really difficult, and probably, I don't know, whether it's a good example, but in your textbooks at the moment, you might see something like this, where a group of people head off to a restaurant and maybe there's 4 people there. Okay, and sit around the table, enjoy some food, comes time to pay the bill, and divide that evenly amongst themselves. So the problem is that, for example, the bill or the cost of the bill might be represented with the letter A. And so we're never ever told what the actual value of the bill that the people sat around the table and what they ate and drank. So in this example, we know that it's going to be divided by 4. So that is our answer, believe it or not. And students have real trouble with that. What I often see is they make up numbers. Oh, they want to call it $100 because I want to divide that by 4 and everyone has to pay $25. And I think this wanting to get a numerical answer, getting a number as your answer, is driven by a lot of the work that you do in primary school. Okay, so far you've learnt that every time we crunch some numbers in math, we end up with a number as an answer, and you're not really comfortable with leaving it like this. So let's change the game a little bit. We don't know we don't know what the bill is, and we don't know how many people were there. So the algebra, if you like, and our answer is setting it up like this. The cost of the food and drink is A. We don't know how many people were there, but we know when we maybe learn a little bit more or get some more information, we could represent this differently. But at the moment, all we know is this. So here's our answer, and that's something you need to get used to. And say, for example, if someone, one of these people had a voucher or something to get $50 off the meal, and they gave that, we could make an adjustment here and say A subtract 50 divided by N. That's all we know so far. We don't know how many people were there. We don't know the cost of the bill. But this is the kind of algebraic thinking that we need to get you set up. So it's using the variables, and we've got to be comfortable with writing our answers in this style.